Hey world. So shout out to the youth who are the truth. This is for the youth. I always stand for and with the youth, God's creation. My biggest issue will always be adults that don't choose to obey God. That's the problem in the world. Actually, the problem is not God, it's not his creation, so to say. It's adults. When they go into adulthood, it's adults who don't choose to obey God's laws and principles and apply what he put in the Bible. That's going to always be the problem. Satan is not even the root problem. It's you adults, the ones who don't choose to just spend time with God, seek him, and apply what he said, so that your children, you won't go through what you're going through or worse. Now, why am I making this video? Because something that's heavy on my heart that I wanted to share to the world. And I'm not the kind of person, when God tells me to share something, I don't care who gets offended or mad. God is the truth. So one thing that's heavy on my heart, when I pick up people, a lot of people I pick up do be teenagers, and they telling everything that goes on in their home. And it's so sad that when I was a teenager, I know what I went through, being molested by men and women. My mom did anything in there, forced us to go to church. She was very religious and of denominations, Pentecostal. And then we went to non-denominational, and so anyway, abusive, narcissistic, you name it. Some of her boyfriends did stuff to me sexually, just different little stuff. My dad was not in my life. My dad is a veteran, and it took for his family to locate me on Facebook, and he still is not in my life, So why am I saying this to you? I'm saying this to you as a parent, because the majority of you adults, you are satanic parents, you are evil, wicked parents, you are ungodly parents, you are perverted parents, contaminated parents, you're awful parents, you're horrible as parents. And yet you keep on mistreating and mishandling the blessing or blessings that God sent through you, like the child is the problem or that teenager is the problem. They're not the problem. They're not the problem, but you cause your children or that child to begin to hate you, and also hate God for sending them through you, because you just won't become and be a godly parent as a mom or a dad, because you're not automatically a godly mother or a father just because you had a child. No, that's just a sign that you're in rebellion somewhere. You're in a sinful nature, especially when you're not married or you're married to the wrong person. Shame on you if you don't hurry up and go to God and say, what's wrong with me and my identity? Can you help me? Fix me, God. Help me to help me. Going forward, what's heartbreaking is I'm still picking up so many teenagers, especially boys, who telling me how the women in their family, vice versa, mistreat them. And I even witnessed it for myself. And because of them not getting loved on and godly parented, they go out in the streets. I be picking them up from places that their parents don't even know they at. And they trusting me with their kids. And not saying that I'm a pedophile or bad person or nothing like that. I don't call myself good. But God purposely is putting it where they be in my care for while I'm driving them around. And they telling me, they pouring out their heart to me on why they're into the type of sins they're into, like having sex with other girls and they're not married, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18 years young. And it's still going on decades later, because that's a sign that you adults are still choosing to live a sinful lifestyle, and you refuse to choose to go to God and seek him on how to become and be a godly mother, a godly father, a godly parent. Do biblical godly parenting. It don't matter if you've been in church 38,000 years. You can still be a awful, evil, wicked parent at home. And your children knows it. The children gonna tell you the truth on their parents if you look at their facial expressions and their body reaction and their attitude towards their parent. That's why I don't rebuke a child when they disrespecting their parent. I'm gonna tell you why. More than likely, they know what they see at home with their parent. And children go by what they see you do, not by what you religiously say, according to your denomination, while you on the way to hell and your child gonna be in heaven. So anyway, I've had so many teenagers be ready to commit suicide, do hurtful things to their girlfriend or boyfriend. They so heartbroken where they want to give up on life. They've had miscarriages, did abortions. And first of all, that's a problem, because that tells me you got a horrible parenting foundation. Your parents are horrible as adults. They are horrible. They are not godly mothers and godly fathers. Because first of all, you should not entertain or choose to come into agreement with your 12 to 18-year-old focusing on bonding intimately, and arousing and stirring hormones up and other things up, lust, before their time, and they're not even married. Marriage should not even be on their mind in their teenager years. Their teenager years is a time, even in that time, the parent or whoever is raising them should be helping them establish bonding with God, capital G-O-D, the one who created them, just like he created you and me. As a parent, in case you didn't know, FYI, for your information, you should not, I don't think that's a smart idea. That's very stupid of you as a parent. It's foolish of you. That's functioning like a simpleton, like you have no common sense. You should and supposed to be seeking God on how to help them come into their identity in it through God's laws, his word, his will, not setting them up for failure through heartbreak, STDs, spiritually transmitted demons, and sexually transmitted diseases, because they're out here having sex with people of all ages. Or they get in relationships and then you have babies with babies. Then some of the females end up losing the babies or having miscarriages or committing abortions, which is an open door to the demon Molech, which comes to abort everything in their life, where they won't be able to succeed. Shame on you adults. I get it. You grown, you got a will, you can have sex. Yeah, but the problem is not at the expense of our future. This is why the world gets worse and worse, more demonic and satanic. Why the youth do things like shoot up schools, commit suicide, go out here in these streets, join gangs. They have stupid parents. Yes, I said stupid. Go to the book of Proverbs. You're stupid if you don't receive God's wisdom as an adult with a child or children with multiple people. You should not be seeking for help on Maury's show. That's stupidity. That's a foolish adult. All you have to do is go to God and seek for God's help. Pick up that Bible. Start in the New Testament. Receive God's Holy Spirit. Receive Jesus Christ back into your life, because you're killing and destroying our future. Whether you realize it or not, want to face it or not, I don't care. The truth of what God says is only what stands. And the only way to train up a child is the biblical way, the smart way, the wise way, the common sense way. God said, receive his wisdom, and with all thy getting, get an understanding. That's the problem with a lot of you adults with kids or a child. That's stupid of you to point the finger at the one you chose to have sex with and got pregnant by, and you keep on doing what it takes to have a child. Go see God. You're not married. You're not even in a godly marriage. Close your legs. Come from between legs. If all you're going to do is be a problem to our future. Okay? Close your legs. Jesus. It's hot, so excuse me. I got to put on some AC for a little bit. But so, this is for the youth. Because they're not the problem. They never was the problem. The problem is you all want to keep having sex from a distorted sexuality ever since you done been molested, which you won't go to God and get healed for. Ever since you've been sexually tampered with as throughout your childhood, you still won't get healed for it or delivered from those sex demons and spirit spouses, spirit husband, spirit wife. And you just keep on giving into your fleshly hormonal urges, arousing stuff within your hormones before your time. And then you want people to feel sorry for you, like Megan Thee Stallion or Beyonce, because you keep doing sinful things in a sinful nature, and your flesh is the dominant ruler by your choosing. You as an adult should be choosing to face yourself on why are you having sex with different people you're not married to, and why do you keep choosing to engage in sexual encounters, sexual things with people God ain't sending you. That's on you, boo-boo. You the fool for that. You're the fool for that. Okay? Whether you male or female, you're the fool for that. We're not choosing to go face yourself in it through God, but then you want to mistreat and mishandle the seed or seeds that come through you in pregnancy, even though you done aborted some of them already. Shame on you, because they didn't deserve that. Okay, but what you need to be aborted. Okay, you should have been aborted if you're going to be like that. That's called reaping what you sow. Because some of you, I ask God, why are you here? Because all you do is you holler at our youth. You holler at your kids. You call them the N-word, nigga. You badmouth them to the teachers. You get mad when the teachers call you about the problems you cause or what they spiritually inherited from you and your sinful lifestyle, and curses you won't get broken. Demonic covenants you won't go to God to get broken. And you won't stop having sex and fornicating with people you're not married to. Well, honey, that's part of sex. That's what God created sex only for, marriage. So that when you get pregnant, it'll be in God's will and that baby won't be cursed. Because in case you didn't know it, when you have sex and you're not married, you bring curses up on that child. They're already going to come in with curses on them because you had sex and you're not married. So you're out of God's will. So that child is already in trouble and about to demonically suffer because of you and that male parent who chose to give in to your lust of the flesh for whatever reason you did. No excuse about it. Face the truth. That goes for anybody, including me. If I have sex with somebody out of God's will and they're not my husband in a godly marriage, I have already come into curses, and so has the child. That's biblical. That's Bible. It doesn't matter if you believe the truth or not. I don't base stuff on what you think, and your opinions don't matter to God. It's what he says and what actually happens, because it's his order that works. Only his order and structure for family that works. Anything we do outside of what God's will is and out of that word and how he established and created the world, it's going to backfire against us and our household. I don't care how many psychics you go to, how many witch doctors, whatever, voodoo, sorcerers, you name it. Tarot card readers, palm card readers, they are not over God. Okay? All right. So anyway, this is for the youth. I feel you. I understand you because of my upbringing. What I went through, I'm an oldest girl and I'm a firstborn girl. So I had to learn everything through experience, not because I wanted to, but because my parents did not choose to seek God to become and be godly parents. Very religious, with a form of godliness, but denying the power. So I suffered a lot. I took on things that I wasn't supposed to. So youth, I get it. That's sad when I hear the youth tell me they're looking for love, even though it's in the worst way, because they're in the wrong places with the wrong faces, because the faces that they're supposed to be loved from, meaning their parents, grandparents, and whomever, they're not getting it at home. So you know how the saying goes, if you're not getting it at home, what's going to happen? You go outside the house looking for love. So again, shame on the adults. Like, really, shame on you. You're horrible. You adults who don't choose to become and be godly parents in and through God, that's, man, and you the reason why our future is horrible. People, y'all adults, y'all complain about the world and how it is like it is. That's why the jail cell's gonna continue to be overfilled. You're gonna have children caught up into transgender, homosexuality, lesbianism, babies with babies, and more, on drugs, drug addicts in their teenager years, shooting up schools, committing suicide, doing all this crazy stuff, getting in gangs, bullying people at school, doing all kind of demonic stuff. Because you adults who don't choose to become and be godly parents in and through God, you're horrible. You in your will. And then you want to complain about your children, talking about they just like their dad or they just like their mom and all this, and you point fingers at each other. Both of y'all are horrible. You shouldn't have never dealt with each other in the first place. You're not in God's will. God warned both of you. The signs was there. The red flags was there. But I commend those of you adults, which is very few, who choose to face you in and through God. You're saving and helping and bringing, causing healing from God and deliverance to our future, to our generations to come, and to your bloodline. But to those of you, which will always be the majority, because we have a will that God gave us with and blessed us with, the majority of you, if I was law enforcement, you would be underneath the jail cell, and I would have centers for your children where our future will be in good hands, God's hands, and we will listen to God on how to raise them up in the biblical ways they should go. Because ever since the Bible, majority of adults, this is nothing new. Even when I was growing up as a child, throughout my childhood, the majority of adults are very religious-minded, carnal-minded, satanic in nature, and they mistreat and mishandle and abuse and misjudge and tear down our future, which is their children, when it's stupidity on you if you don't go and seek God on what to do concerning your child. Excuse me, because you chose to sin. You chose to keep on a cycle in your bloodline that God never told you to do. And he warned you not to do it. God always warns everybody. The red flags was there about that narcissistic guy or girl. You saw she was half naked. You know why you was drawn away by the lust of your flesh. Your daddy and them the same way. Your mom and them the same ways. You ain't chose to go the opposite way. You wanted to go their way. Now you worse than your mom and them. You just as bad as your bloodline. The youth, you are the truth. You're not the problem. The problem is your parents. They won't go and become and be godly parents in and through God. That's what I want to share. This is tough love for you adults who are like this. This is tough love. I'm not a person who cares you get mad or offended. No, I don't care about that. When you are the problem to our future, and all I'm seeing is jail cells become overflooded with youth, and they out here in these streets having sex and meeting up at sex parties in the midnight hours and going places they shouldn't be, doing booty calls and having sex with God knows who and what. And they looking for love in all the wrong places. They getting into stuff they shouldn't be into. That's very heartbreaking to someone who's anointed for the youth. That's heartbreaking. So I don't have mercy on adults who choose to be the problem, and you won't see God and let him transform and renew you as their parent to become and be a godly mother, a godly father, and train them up in the biblical godly ways they should go. Because if you don't know, God is right there. It's amazing to me how you satanic adults who are bad parents, you sit up there and say, well, I don't know what to do. But how did you know how to have sex? You know how to do oral sex on that person. You knew how to do a booty call. You know how to smoke weed. You know how to cuss and use filthy language. You know how to abuse your child. But how do you know how to call on God when you get in trouble? God is not obligated to that. Get your mind right. Get it together. Let God help you, because you're horrible as a parent. You're terrible. You're the reason why the world like it is, with our seed, with our generation, our future. They don't need that. That's why a lot of kids I talk to, they hate their parents. They hate going home. I've witnessed it myself. I've been through it myself. They were wondering, looking at God, why you got me with these kind of parents or family members? They don't like it. I don't blame them. The best type of family to have and parents to have are godly ones. Anything else is horrible. It's tragic. That's a mess. And I ain't with that. I support those of you, and I stand with you adults who choose to seek God to become and be godly parents. You other ones that satanic and horrible, ungodly parents, you're in my prayers, but I don't have mercy or nothing like that with you, because you got a choice. If you can choose to do wrong, you can choose to go to God and let him help you to do right. No excuse about it. Because when you choose to keep opening your legs or getting between legs, that's a choice. Satan can't make you do nothing. Sin can't even make you. You got to face the truth about you, why you keep choosing to do what you do. You man bashing and women bashing. No, the issue is it's you. You talking about and complaining about your child. No, they didn't choose to inherit from you and the dad what they inherited. No, it's you, both of you. Y'all don't choose to be godly parents and train them up in the way they should go. That's on you. And God holds you adults accountable for how you raise us too. It's on you. Because God said to do sin or wrong when you know to do good, what's right, he counts it and holds it as sin against you, even concerning your parenting with your children. So if you say you don't know, you lie, and the truth ain't in you. All you have to do is ask God for help. Ask God for help. I suggest you to. I'm Gabrielle. Feel free if you have any comments or questions, privately, publicly, respectfully, whatever you want to do. And so it's all in love. This is a tough love video. I stand with the youth. Nothing's wrong with our youth, but it's some of everything wrong with adults who choose to have children and keep living in sin and don't seek God on how to become and be godly parents. Whether it's one parent or both, it don't matter. Something's wrong with you, not who God sent through you. Until next time.